What do you think of the score? I think it was a beautiful goal by Austin Arnold.
Yes.
It still gets me fired up every time I see it.
Yes.
Welcome everybody to CLTFC Fan TV, for the fans, by the fans, damn it. I decided to try to figure out a little bit of a rhyme tonight because I figured out that our special guest also rhymes with us. So I am JT, that is Lee. Our special guest is Willie P. Will Pelagic, WFNZ / the radio host, the play-by-play guy for your Charlotte FC is hanging out with us tonight. So this is going to be fun. He's got some knowledge.
Some insider knowledge.
I at least pretend to have some, at least.
Yeah.
Just pretending is all we ask for on this show.
Pretend.
Yes, we're all about pretending here.
Oh, check this out. Before we start, because I was like, will it fit in there right? I got my Coors Light I'm putting on in honor of what
the Ally koozie. There you go. There
Yeah,
you
let
go.
me see. I haven't even used it until right now.
That was a heck of a get from the kit launch, I believe, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Where we got them from?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yes.
choice merch.
Choice merch, indeed.
All right,
Indeed.
so I got my 21 questions. Y'all talk about what's been happening. I'll jump in, whatever.
You been there?
Where?
Around the what's happening part.
Where?
Anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. If you're new here, hit the sub button. If you're an OG, hit the like button. And if you don't like the show, hit the thumbs down button. Either way, it all helps the algorithm, apparently. I have no idea. It's been a long day for
I like
me,
Edward
man.
Gonzalez's point. It's Mickey's voice double. I get a lot of people who say that I sound like Mickey on the radio when I do gold calls. So seems odd.
You know what we need from you, man? Real quick, before we get going, we need, and I know you wasn't prepared for this, but we need a goal that's just been scored, man. We need that call, man. Give it to us.
Oh man.
Oh no. Let me amend that as you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
A goal that's scored from who you might
I need the player, I need the team, I need the type of goal. Give me
a prediction for Atlanta, who you might think will score in Atlanta, and just think about that.
Or you could say if you were calling last night when Jaws came on and scored.
No, I'll do an Atlanta one.
All right.
I want to try to speak one into existence.
Nice.
Diop coming into the last third with it down the left flank, across into the area for Hagar. He scores!
Yes.
Chris Hagar with his first MLS
yes.
goal and his first MLS start. Something like that.
Go Hagar, go!
Yes, get it. I love it, man.
Hey,
I love
goosebumps for real. That was good.
Yeah.
Unprepared. Complete. I didn't even do a warm up or anything like that.
I know.
I know. Well, I'll tell you what. You can close out the show with another one. Then that way your voice will be all good and warmed up. Hopefully.
You know, I do like a big, huge, like vocal warm up to get up to that level. So
how do you do that? Let's hear that.
It's a lot. So basically, and Tonio Ramos and I kind of both we went to different vocal therapists before the season last year to kind of get, voices trained and stuff like that. And a lot of it happens with like a cup of water and a straw, and I'll like blow bubbles in the straw, and I'll make different sounds and go like and ah, and like do different. It's almost kind of like a scales thing, like with singers do. So it's like warm up stuff. So, but it's very involved. Jess never sees it, so
you're literally training your vocal cords. You're getting them ready. It's almost like an opera singer.
Yeah. The only thing that is disgusting about it is that like I have a really bad acid reflux, so a lot of times when I'm doing the warm ups, I get a lot of gas, and so like I'm sitting next to my wife on the way up to and she's sitting there and she's like, "Will, why are you burping so much?" I'm like, I'm getting it all out now. So
well, I'm glad
it's you were burping,
the
not
top.
the other way.
Yeah, no, it's not the bottom. It's like you're getting a lot of gas. That's good.
That's it. Good. That's it. But I mean, talking about goals and everything, it's you've had plenty to call here lately.
So, yeah, it's been fun.
That New York game, for instance.
So I don't know how you guys. I mean, you guys have seen every game we've seen, just like me. That game against New York was the wildest one that I've seen, in my opinion, that we've played, and that even includes the Chicago one. I think the Chicago one was wild because we really didn't see it coming, especially with that comeback and the gravity of the moment. But if it wasn't for that Chicago one, that's definitely the wildest we've seen at Bank of America Stadium, just based on the fact that every time we had a punch, New York had a counter punch, but we also were able to counter punch back. And I think that shows the resilience, the resolve of this team. And I also think there's very much a bunker mentality. I mean, we've talked a lot, and I know you guys have talked about all the stuff that's happened off the pitch, and I don't want to get into that, but I do feel like as a result of that, you've kind of seen this team rally around each other. Teams can go one of two ways. They can either, whisked away into anonymity, but other times that can be what bands a team together. And I think you've seen the last two outings against New York and against Orlando. You've seen a team that wants to play for each other, wants to play for its manager. And ultimately, I think we're seeing the personification of the talent that's there. I mean, Christian Latanzio said it on Tuesday night about Kamil Jozwiak. Jozwiak is somebody who I think we all knew he had some talent, but it just wasn't clicking for whatever reason last year. And, might
And
have
that's
been
why a
some of
lot
that.
of us were just kind of getting frustrated with him, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we just knew he was good. I mean, I will always say that his defensive play has been good. It's just been that
Right.
offensive part of it kind of driven me a little nuts.
And I don't 100% know this for a fact, but I know he was coming off a poor injury at the outset of his time. Remember, there was the rumor about the ankle or what happened to the ankle that kept him from signing earlier than he actually did, and
Yeah.
so there was something that held up his actual transfer to Charlotte FC. I don't know if there were lingering effects of that when he got here, or they pressed him into service too quickly. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just assuming and making a speculation on that fact, but I think having the off season really helped him kind of gain some better confidence in his body. It's unfortunate that he took the injury that he did a couple weeks ago, but the fact that he is playing on a completely another level right now, it's just absolutely superb and absurd in all the best ways to see.
Yeah, it's good though, because I feel like he's definitely bringing up Carroll as well, right? I mean, he's lifting him up, I would say, and it's good to see those guys linking up. And, even Capetti against New York was, it was good to see him and Carroll celebrate together because I know a lot of people
Mhm.
have been trying to say that there's some bitterness between them two. So,
No, no, those guys
Yeah.
are best friends.
yeah, I know.
No,
And
look,
just win, baby. I mean, just win. I mean,
Carol, Camille, and Jan. Like again, I get to see training. Again, I don't.
I was talking
I
about
don't.
Enzo and Carroll.
Oh,
Just
Enzo and Carol. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. No,
No,
I
Enzo
know
and Carol are great.
Polish folks hang out together.
Enzo and Carol in training, they basically are off together. Like they have been inseparable since Enzo got here, and I think they're basically have been placed together in almost every instance to try and figure out, okay, how do we get this chemistry together? How do we get the link up play together? And I honestly think we saw a little bit of it during the preseason too, as well. It's just there hasn't been those moments inside of games that we've seen it, and I think it's always a work in progress. You're never going to be 100% pitch perfect, but I think honestly now, the last 3-4 contests, minus the DC game, you've seen the best of both of them.
So where
Yeah.
do you think we are in the progress overall? Like we're talking about progress, and everyone's complaining and saying Latanzio out or whatever, and all the stuff off the pitch, et cetera, et cetera. Where do you think we are? I believe we're like 1/3 into the season. So where do you,
11 games.
to me it feels like we're just we're like almost coming together. And if you look at the standings, I mean, like so many teams
With like
are
3 points
12
from
points.
fifth.
Yeah. If
Yeah, it's
you win one game and one game goes down, you're sixth.
I
Are
say,
you?
yeah, you're 2 points away from either 5th or 6th place right now with the
Yeah.
way the standings are condensed. And the thing that I've kept on saying to anybody who's asked, because the people want to use the P word, the panic word, other than pelagic, right? Panic.
That's the can't even now.
That's the panic bell.
That's the I can't even now, Bill. But yes,
So
similar.
my whole thing is that when you look at the way the table has played out, the table's done us some favors. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it's been the year of the draw. Like Toronto's got 6 of them. We've got 3. There's a couple other teams that have 4 or 5. There are more draws this year, and I don't know if that's just an anomaly or what it is, or if there's something involving a trend of the league. But you're seeing a lot more results grinded out by teams. I think teams are realizing the value of a point as opposed to trying to go for it. And whether that's something as an evolution of a league thing or whatever, I think someone will probably do a story on that, I'm sure, from MLSsoccer.com. But I honestly think right now we're in a pretty good spot. We're gelling at the right time. I think there are some teams that played well at the beginning of the season that aren't playing well right now. Look at our friends over in St. Louis right now. They're 1-4-1 in their last 7 comps or 6 comps. So it's a situation where there's always going to be ebbs and flows in the season. This is a very condensed part of the schedule. And I think you want to be playing your best soccer when you have these games back to back to back to back like this. You're playing basically with the way that the Open Cup will fall. You'll be playing midweek each of the next 3 weekends and 4 weekends in a row, 5 if you make it past this round and go into the next one. So I feel like it's a good thing. Guys would rather be playing than training, and I think it's honestly for people who are saying that they're taking some gallows humor behind it because of all of injuries. I think honestly it's the best thing for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the New York game was definitely one of the best, if not the best games I feel like we've seen us play. I mean, finally we're making like passes, not just out to the wing and hoping to cross in. Everybody seemed to be involved in doing their job, and it was just really good to see. So, Moram, I think, has been a big help for us.
Yes.
And
I love Miram.
yeah, Miram, is it? I always screw up everybody's last name.
Yeah. Justin Miram. I remember when he was in Atlanta and when I was down there in 2019, and I always
said
loved.
a lot of good things about him.
I love the way that
Number 11, by the way. What's the mayor? How do you pronounce it, Willie P?
Miram.
Miram.
M-E-E.
I have it now phonetically. Thank you very much. What is the Miram effect?
The Miram effect, I think, number one, they didn't have a real MLS veteran on this team other than Harrison Awful, and it's not to dog Harry. I think Harry's a great player, but I also think Miram is a lot more vocal than Harrison is, and I think Miram commands a lot of respect. Harry does as well. None of this is meant to dog Harry in any sense of the way, but I think Miram is a lot more forceful with the way that he brings it about. He's another guy who's, again, got skins on the wall. He's got all kinds of things that he can bring to the table in terms of his time in MLS. He's been with 4 or 5 different franchises, one with 2 different stints. So as a result, you're seeing the real effect of it. I even noticed it in the Open Cup game where Hamady Diop is there in his first team appearance.
Oh, what a great game he played.
Hamady looked great, but there were other moments where you kind of thought that Hamady was a little bit of a fish out of water, and I'm noticing it. I was seated on that near side during the first half, and Miram was in constant communication with Hamady, saying, outside, or easy, or things of that nature. And it's just all those kinds of things. He's an additional coach on the pitch for somebody in Hamady who needed every little bit of it, but Hamady was incredible on the ball, wasn't he? He was so smooth.
Yeah.
Him last
I tell you, I like to give a shout out to Hagar too. He's a good player.
He's great.
Yep. So yeah, so the New York game. What can we say? 3-2. All we do is sweep New York.
Right.
Streets need to be done.
I would like to say this just from the newbie fan standpoint, which I'm not anymore, but whatever. Just from a casual fan, that was the most entertaining game, I think, besides other stuff going on, I've ever seen. The back and forth and then the win it, albeit own goal. That game was so great. The weather, the temperature.
Should have been there last night. Last night was a good game too.
Jess was saying that it was one of the.
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry, Willie. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Damn it, Lee. I'm trying to make a point about the game on Saturday, how great it was, and then you're going to bust my balls about.
Hell yeah, man! I'm tired of hearing where's JT at. I'm like, damn it.
Well, if they say where's JT at,
I'm going to start giving out your phone number, and they can just text you.
Okay. Damn it, man! I had a really good point. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Please,
I'll stop.
let us continue.
Go ahead.
You wanted to speak, JT. Go ahead. Get your point across, my friend.
That's bullshit. All right, now Will.
In terms of that New York game, Jess was saying something to me in the aftermath of it. She's saying it was probably one of the most fun games she's attended. It was one of the games where we're both watching it and we feel like fans. Like my stomach is in my throat as I'm watching down there. I'm halfway hanging out the booth trying to make sure that we hang on to that lead in the 80th and 90th minutes. And so we watched the game from that perspective anyways, but it really felt like we were on the edge of our seat the entire time in that contest because of the topsy-turvy nature of that game. So I wouldn't blame you for saying that was probably the most entertaining game you've seen because it was one of the most entertaining ones I'd seen.
Yeah, I'd say I agree with that 100%. Saturday was a lot of fun, and it always makes the fan interviews afterwards fun to do as well because everybody's hyped and it's not like trying to stop the Latanzio out talk.
When they're really mad, it's also entertaining that way. But yes,
I don't think we can replace what happens to Uptown in the aftermath of a Charlotte FC win. I understand that we have the Panthers and it's a football town first. I get that. I'm not trying to blaspheme against.
It's a soccer town first. Football just happens to be in the same stadium.
But I think what happens to this city after a Charlotte FC victory, the fact that fans will stick around, they'll go to bars, they'll go to the Lada Arcade, they'll go to Clutch, they'll go to these other places, and seeing what happens after a win. I mean, I love that. I love walking around after the games and seeing guys in bars, seeing people out there celebrating still. It's unlike anything I've seen because I mean some of the other stadiums around, like Atlanta, doesn't have that atmosphere after a game. Like people get in their cars and they get on and they sit in traffic for a half an hour or an hour.
They try to go 85 north because that's the
Exactly.
best
I
in
mean,
Atlanta.
Screw that city.
And other cities I've been to, like I lived in Houston. People get out of Houston like they're trying to get chased. I mean, there's like one bar outside the stadium in Houston, and nobody goes to it. Nobody goes to it. So everybody gets the heck out of Houston.
That's
so
good.
And,
Willie,
Dallas's stadium is attached to a prairie, and St. Louis, while I know they're trying to build up that area, it's still not completely built up. Sporting Kansas City is next to I think a casino and a NASCAR track. So again, it's like I think we take for granted a little bit.
You're hitting JT in the stomach there, dissing NASCAR, man.
I'm not saying I'm not.
I heard
I'm
it.
not
You
saying
heard it here,
anything-
folks.
I'm not saying anything bad about NASCAR.
No, you're
I'm just saying there's not a nightlife is what I'm saying. There's the fact that we have a nice area around the stadium to go to after games. I think it's a real great thing, and it's done a lot for the town. I think it's masterful.
Yes, I completely agree, Willie P. Unlike Lee trying to troll me.
What do you mean?
Anyway, Lee. No. Anyway.
Go ahead. Say it.
No. Call a number. Just call a number, please.
I love
Dale,
Ryan saying he was at the
was
Houston
number
match. He
3.
can confirm that was on my mother's birthday last year, so that was really cool.
Hold on. We overlapped each other. What'd you say, Willie?
I said I love Ryan's comment. He says I was at the Houston match. Can confirm. So there you go.
Nice. All right.
Ryan
so
goes, have you ever been to a Chili's after a NASCAR race? No, no, I've not.
You couldn't get in.
Mm-mm.
What's the number, Willie P? What's a number between 1 and 21?
12. My favorite number is 12.
Oh, nice. Is Westwood kind of a captain on the field? You talking about people talking about? I heard him barking. I mean, just like little, get over here. It seems to me to have Westy back and Westwood on the field is so important with Fuchs being, gone in the sense of not being on the pitch. But Westwood, what do you see his importance as?
I mean, he is captain.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying him physically yelling out stuff.
I mean, that's what we've been missing, right? We've been talking about it for a while now. It's been the guys before, like when Westwood is out, Kalina too, he's vocal, Moram, or whatever that's his name, right? Those guys like to talk and chat and yell and scream, and they're not worried about upsetting anybody. Before those three were on the pitch, the team itself was just timid personalities. They kind of did what they did, and they played out. There was not much communication, not picking each other back up, and that sort of thing. So I feel like with the vocal guys, you just tell them, like, get stuck in, like, what the fuck are you doing, sort of thing, right? Just do what you're supposed to do and play.
So I what I want to say, and again, I don't want this to be a slight to another guy because I think we all love Christian Fuchs here. We're all big Christian Fuchs fans, but I think Westwood is a younger and maybe I don't want to say more profitable, but he can give you more than what Fuchs could have given you at the stage of the career that Fuchs was in. Westwood is a veteran, but he's a little bit younger than Fuchs was when we got him, and the fact that they still have Fuchs on staff, it's great. But I think it's different coming from a coach versus a player, because even though Fuchs was only a player last year, he's now on the coaching staff. He's MGMT now, so they need a player who's out there on the pitch who can help direct traffic, who can keep things straight. And I honestly think it's had a great effect on almost anybody on the field when he's out there. I think him and Jones look great together. I think he helps keep the back line organized as well. And I also think he's got a desire to go forward. One of the things he told us is that he wants to try and score more goals. He wants to be able to be a more of a goal scorer than he was at Burnley. And I think from that perspective, it helps Charlotte FC even more, because anytime you got more guys crashing the net, it's a good thing.
Yeah, well, we never used to have anybody doing that.
Hey, I just want to say, I'm sorry. I got to interrupt Tio real quick. I just want to say, Willie P bringing knowledge. Dang.
I try, man. I try.
No, you don't try. You are a professional. Listen, mofos out there, this is a professional.
I'm at least masking as one. Massive.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Put your humble card away. It's too late for that, Willie P.
Willie P.
Hey, you're a newly married man. I'm trying to help you out, Willie P.
There it
Hey,
is.
this is my 15th anniversary today. I'm trying
Today.
to help myself out too.
How'd you get away with that with your wife?
His 15th year.
Damn it.
Yeah, Jess is
Megan, I love you so much. If you ever see this, you have to know that I'm not kidding around at all, and I love you so much. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm married to the show. I'm married to the show, fellas. I'm in it always.
How into soccer is your wife, JT?
Very little, but she likes it. I mean, she likes it compared to baseball. Baseball is the worst, lasts forever. She loves soccer in the sense of it is a succinct amount of time.
That's interesting. My wife absolutely loves it. Like one of our, very, very early dates was to a soccer game, and she absolutely fell in love with it. Her first time going to it with me, and she's got a season ticket. She sits down in her seat. She brings her radio in, and she loves it. She absolutely loves it.
I shouldn't say she doesn't like it at all. And my gosh, now I'm going to get in trouble. She has a good time at the game, but she is a huge college basketball fan. Go State.
That's good.
But that's her main thing is basketball, and she's a great sports
Anyways.
fan. Yes, Lee.
I'm the only no, man. Like I'd say, don't get married. I'll say it right. Have a partner that lives with you forever. Do all that stuff. I'm totally against marriage.
Lucha is saying that Jess is giving me all the information. Not all the information. I make my own observations and thoughts too. Make my own observations and thoughts.
He's a man.
Yes, we're all married to the team. Us true fans. Y'all not true fans, man.
Lee can't even bring it back on the rails right now. I love it.
I'm married. I'm married to my wife.
But how much is this costing me, man? Not to be married anymore.
I am married to my wife, but my mistress is definitely my fan cash inside my Fanatics account for all the fan gear that I bought.
I hope y'all all got prenups, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you want to talk about marriage? I'm going to bring the side of it, man.
Hey, someone on the chat, call out a number.
I said Dale was number 3 for your NASCAR comment earlier.
3.
Yeah, 3.
3. Thank you, Lee.
Yep. See, and I agree with you.
Okay, so basically, what happened last night? Can someone give me who played and who didn't play? Didn't score till Jaws came back, scored on the 70th minute. Scene was good. Is there like a succinct of what happened last night? And who are we going to play possibly in the Sweet 16?
So go ahead, Lee.
Josviak scored. I believe Carroll set him up. Enzo played because obviously he's on he's 5 yellow, so he's going to be out for the Atlanta game. Same for Jones, I believe. Diop played. I thought he played really well. Chris Hagart, man, I think he's going to be a great player for us. He's clean on the ball. He doesn't really mess up much. He just continues looking for the ball and that stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think Orlando didn't even have a shot on goal, man. And so there's that too.
I talked to Hagart for our podcast, Crown Corner, by the way. If you subscribe, there's a real fun, cool little comment in there that may or may not end up on CBS Sports Galazzo's Morning Footy tomorrow. They featured his game day fit, and we talked a little bit about that. And I'm friends with some people on the show over there, so we might get a little cross promote there with the folks over there. If you watch Morning Footy on the Galazzo Network, it's a 2-hour show from 7 to 9, but they replay it all morning. So if you see it all there,
cross promote that shit.
Of course. But I love Hagart. I think it's right now, depending on the way they go about this, because of no Capetti, they got a couple of options. I don't know if Vinny Mello is going to be the one who's featured at the number 9. I think it's a situation where they'll probably play Carroll up the number 9. And then it's maybe between Bender and Hagart for that central attacking midfielder role. And at least based on the playing time of late, I would say that Hagart probably is the one that's more featured. But again, we don't know for sure. We won't know for sure until we see it on Saturday. And I think from that aspect, Hagart has done everything he's been asked of in his time with Charlotte FC. I know Latanzio really likes him. I think he's a gritty guy. I mean, We all remember the moment last year in the home opener where he and Sasha Klesjan had that great moment where they bonded together, which goes back to the time that Sasha visited him while he was in the hospital. Chris was getting
What?
treatment for pediatric cancer. So I think it'd be a fantastic story. And he's somebody who I feel like you definitely can root for on this team. He's somebody who played his college soccer at Georgetown, came
He's
very
a
close to
really
a national
nice guy
champion,
too.
and he's absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
And
he's
and he
great.
beat Ben Bender in a chef competition, which again,
I
is
don't know, man. I didn't see that.
gargantuan.
Can Ben Bender cook though? That's the question.
Oh
And
no,
then
Ben can cook.
and he beat Ben Bender in his chef competition.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
Ben was sick, so you got to give him some slack.
No,
Okay.
Ben is really a good guy. I've talked to both of these guys about food because if you guys know about my persona on our flagship station, you know that I am a bit of a food aficionado. So I've talked to both of them independently about cooking, but both of them have chops. Benji's on that uh, on that uh, on that Food Network type level. Ben can host his own cooking show. That's how good he is.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So, Will, question for you, man. Any chance they might pull players from the Crown Legacy? I think they can come up for like 4 games. I think we touched on this a couple of times, right? They can come up for the most 4 games, and then they have to drop back down. I don't know if that's continuous or 4 for the whole season.
Yeah, you can do 4 different call ups basically, and each call up I think lasts like you said 3 or 4 days. So a lot of times, if there's like a midweek game, you'd call them up for that reason. If like you have a Saturday, Wednesday, you'd be able to use them
Which we have this
in
week.
both contests. Uh, I don't know if anyone necessarily for this contest necessarily, but I'd keep my eye on Yuri Tavares, especially if Charlotte FC needs some help up front because of what he's done so far for Crown Legacy. He's somebody who, seeing him in person, he is incredibly massive, and I also feel like they want to give some love to or give a look to Patrick Agyemang too as well,
Yeah,
somebody
I'd like to see him play.
who is a first team player, but has definitely moonlighted for Crown Legacy. I know that they've had Andrew Privet, who's been on the first team a little bit as a sub, has not featured yet. The guy that I feel like we're waiting for his moment, a first teamer, but is also featured at the next pro level, is Brandon Cambridge. I think Brandon has been somebody who, we've very much been clamoring to see in a greater role. He did sub in the game against New York City, his home debut for that. I really think he's somebody who has that extra gear in him to be somebody who can be a guy at the end of the game on a bench. I don't know whether or not we'll see a David Pareba or maybe Nikola Petrovic or something like that. I don't know if we're going to get that scenario in terms of Petkovic, but I do like what Tavares has done. I also love Pareba. And I also think, too, the guys, like I said before, the first team guys who are playing for Legacy for the most part, those guys maybe can feature as well.
Willie P, how do you know all those names so well? I know it's your profession, but my gosh, Crown Legacy, you're like, dang, 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 dang.
Well, it's because I watch this team. I mean, this is my life, guys. I mean, I know that it might sound like it's glamorous, but it's work. And like I have a mental photographic memory about all these guys. I keep charts. I was talking about this with Lee before you came on, JT, in our little pre-show meeting. I've got a catalog of like every player that plays on the first and second teams and like what they did in each game. I got a card for every player that plays and is on this roster, and I update them after every contest. Got to stay organized, and it really does help me make sure that I know these guys in and out. So if we do get a scenario where, last minute we find out, hey, they're calling up Niko Pekovic, or they're calling up Yuri Tavares, or they're calling up Thiago Rodrigues, somebody of some of that nature. He's another guy who I meant to mention. Who Thiago Rodrigues is absolutely fantastic. He's somebody who I think is going to be a big force for Charlotte FC in the back if he continues to progress the way that we want to too. But yeah, I keep a running tally of all those guys.
Hey, Tally, I like that name. Hey, so, but you're telling me you literally pull out you could pull out a Crown Legacy card that you have, and if they get promoted to Charlotte FC, you'll just slide them in, and you'll have them.
Yeah, basically. That's it. What the way that I have it set up on mine is that the cards are about like this big. Like they're about this big on a piece of paper. And what I do is I'll cut them out. Actually, my wife cuts them out. We play little arts and crafts on Saturday mornings.
Hey now, hey, we don't need all those details.
But basically, I double side tape them to Post-it notes, and so like I'll get out the projected 20 or what I think is going to be the 20 for the roster. I'll put them on Post-it notes, and then I'll have I'll have a board of card stock, which reminds me I have to go out and get some card stock because I'm out. But
Get
I'll
that
put them
card
on
stock, Willie P. Damn it!
But I'll put them on card stock, and that's basically my spotting board for a game. So
nice, and you had that right in front of you as you're calling the game.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember what I did an hour ago.
I should have brought one in. I might have one if I can go get it, but
you can go get it. Shit, man, we got time.
Yeah, so to answer your question earlier, JT, I believe we play Miami next, right? Since they've beat Charleston, isn't that in the region?
Well, did
it's
they?
in the region. Among the teams that are in the region, I think Miami is in the region. I think DC might be in the region as well. Again, the draw is tomorrow at 2, so it's
the draw is tomorrow at 2. That's
What's the chance to get another home game?
Yeah, what's that?
They don't like to give you that many in this stage of the tournament. Usually, if you get 2 in a row, you'll go on the road.
But all last season, nothing.
Remember last season we had 3 straight on the road. So from that aspect, could be interesting. But
extended.
I know I do know one thing. And this is a new. We talked to Devin Kerr, who was on the broadcast for U.S. Soccer. He did the game for Apple against New York City. They are going to be doing something different with the draw. They have been doing those envelopes, kind of like the NBA draft lottery does.
Do the balls.
They're going to go to the way that it is in the Champions League. They're going to go with they're going to do the balls in the dish.
Yep.
Lottery.
Not the ping pong balls. Not the ping pong balls.
Oh, okay.
The balls in the dish. Like if you ever watch a Champions League draw,
they open it up and it's got the thing in it.
No, all right. So this is my timeout. I know the Champions League. I've never watched the draw, but they literally.
Dude, it's like if you have a team that plays in Europe, the Champions League draw is some of the most nauseatingly nerve-wracking thing you'll ever watch.
Nobody watched Arsenal play in the Champions League.
No. Just time out.
Tell the truth, Lee.
Stop. They put balls that represent your team.
No, they put little soccer balls in there.
I understand, but someone just stirs them. How did they get stirred around?
They stir around with the hand.
Whose hand stirs them around?
They have different celebrities who come up and it's like different celebrity former players will come up and they'll stir their name and they'll be like, "Hey, pick another name."
Are you kidding me?
No, why? Why is that so hard to believe?
Because maybe that person who's a celebrity could come in there and snake their hand around and find that one blue one and pull it out.
Better than a frozen envelope like Patrick
They're all the same. They're all the same. They're just little fucking soccer balls with the paper in it, and then they hand it off, and then
the slip of paper is about as big as like the slip that comes in a fortune cookie. Like that's how big it is.
5-year-olds play with little fucking soccer balls, Lee. Not fucking men deciding the fate of billion-dollar fucking soccer.
Well, unfortunately, they do. That's what they do for the World Cup and everything.
Well, you know what?
Again, back to that typical.
You know what, Lee? You know what?
Go ahead.
Fuck that.
Yes. So, all right. So,
off the rails.
If you're watching, JT doesn't want you to use the little balls, right? He just wants you to have envelopes instead.
He wants awkward envelope interaction. That's what he wants.
Spurring them around is gonna make the choice.
Why not?
I
believe it's somebody else's
pneumatic machine. Let the air and chance do it.
Welcome to the world culture, JT.
Why are we talking about this?
All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to bring our friend in from Atlanta Fan TV, man, and we're going to talk shit about Atlanta. What's up, Mark?
Hey, happy to be
man, you just showed up just in time for us to talk junk about Atlanta, man.
That was a great time to talk about junk about Atlanta. Yeah,
what's going on down there in the South, man?
First, well, you're in the South too.
I know, but y'all
right?
What's up, guys? It's good to talk to you guys again.
What's up?
You know, things started off really well for Atlanta. Like, I was really optimistic. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, this team looks like 2018 again. Like, this is like the LA United I remember. And then April happened, basically. Like they got a win over what we now know is a pretty terrible Red Bull team.
They beat
got
us.
Chicago too.
Yeah, they squeaked by Chicago. And even going back to the beginning of last year, they've had these like fairly lucky wins. And so Chicago is kind of reminiscent of that, winning on an own goal deep in the injury time. And
Charlotte in the
They love on goal.
94th minute with Jake Mulroney.
Right. I remember talking about that last year. Yeah, exactly. So it's basically Pineda needs to demonstrate that he has tactics outside of his best players, which I think is the main issue. When Almada and or Yorgos Yakumakis is missing, don't use striker. I mean, there's just no ideas. The attack looks stale. Even like Almada, who obviously is elite. It hasn't been as good the past couple weeks. I don't think that's down to him necessarily entirely, but yeah, now's probably a good time to catch this, honestly.
Mark, do you think Almada is trying to do too much? Because like watching the Miami game, I'm seeing a lot of freelancing. I'm seeing a lot of being around there and kind of trying to make something happen on his own and not necessarily looking for other guys. I mean, I know that they like to get depth with Lennon and Gutman, but from that aspect, I feel like it does feel a bit out of sync for them.
Yeah, because I definitely maybe like some of the audacious passing or like you were talking about some of the roaming even, although I wonder if that's by design, if he just has that license and that freedom. But yeah, I definitely think there's times where he's trying to force the action rather than I guess in theory let the game come to him. But then it's also a case of, do I blame him? Because that's where I go back to the system itself. Like, are there tactics in place to allow him and others to thrive? Or right? Yeah, hopefully that probably won't work. But but
the only thing that's fun about that is that he doesn't have to play outdoors in Atlanta because you guys have a roof. So
yeah,
there is
right.
that.
Yeah. Although
last time we were there, they had it open though. They were just cooking the supporters section.
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Yeah. They've
Open
had to,
it by 2/3.
Yeah.
And then stop it.
yeah, right. Just enough for the sun to come in at that angle.
Yeah, that's what it was, man. I remember. It's I just like how cheap the food and beer is there.
Mm-hmm. I actually, you know that food account, right? I think it's I forget what it's called. The guy
stipend.
The guy who goes to all the soccer games and it's like, this is the food that they have.
Oh, the Scran guy.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah. That guy found something that I didn't even know was at Mercedes-Benz. So next time I go, it was I'm gonna have to pull it up. It was I think it was a pizza dish. I want to say it was either pizza or something just disgusting and folded over, and I want to try it. So.
Disgusting and folded over.
Guys, in
the right, Mark?
Don't
in the
start
press
with
box.
disgusting. Say folded over, and you might think it's disgusting.
In the press box at Mercedes-Benz, they've got Carvel frozen custard soft serve.
What?
So,
like on the pump?
mm-hmm.
Like you're at a summer camp?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even
with all the toppings. So I'm looking forward to that.
It ain't easy, but it sure is fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mark, you're gonna be there Saturday, right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
I feel like the last time, ever since we played that clip of you saying how you support Charlotte, man, you just been avoiding us since then, man. I mean, we can go back and edit it out.
Oh, that nervous laugh. That's beautiful, that nervous laugh.
Oh, my God. I feel like you guys are going to intersplice the clip now.
No. I'm not saying you up. I just appreciate you coming on. I know your time was limited, so.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I'll see because of course our boy Pancake is coming down, so I'd love to see him at the game.
Right.
I do have plans that day, but it's a maybe. It's not a no, but we'll see.
You think you guys are gonna get beat this weekend?
Honestly, I would, if I had to make a prediction, I would say a draw. I wouldn't be surprised if the game ends in a draw. I do think that would be a disappointing result for us.
Draw flatters us definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are
swing though.
Yeah, you guys are on the bounce now. So I think it's one of those, the last game, obviously you guys were kind of mired in some difficulties, and that's when that was that early season optimism for us.
Hey,
I don't.
3-0 at half.
Yeah, I don't expect a repeat of that. Because I just think Charlotte will play better. There's no way they can play that badly again. So, and like you said, like we mentioned, they're on the upswing. I think it'll be a tough game, but it's either going to be a draw. It's going to be one of those crazy wins for us again. Something happening 10 minutes in the injury time.
Yeah, right.
What's the scene like around the stadium, Mark?
Um,
You're walking. If
It's a bunch of parking lots.
You walk out of the stadium. Does everyone have to drive away? Is there literally any place close by just to start partying?
Well, the tailgate itself is near-ish the stadium. They've actually moved it again, so it's in a new location this year. It's a decent location. It's
no longer in the Gulch?
No, oh no. The Gulch is long gone. It's the
Wow.
Gulch is now ever since
Flooded.
sometime within the pandemic, they sold the land and they're supposed to be developing it for the whole office green space thing. I'm sure that's going on. You see a bunch of that in Charlotte too.
Yeah.
So immediately around the stadium is actually it's pretty much developing. Like downtown Atlanta has been, I guess you could say, ignored for the longest time.
Right.
So, and then with the World Cup and with Mercedes-Benz being a host, there's urgency. There's a huge push to develop the area around there. So in 3-4 years, that area could change a lot. You have a Hard Rock Hotel, Reverb, which is I've been in there a couple times, really nice. But I would say around there is developing as of now. Like Lee said, it actually really is a bunch of parking lots.
Yeah.
right now.
Jess is speaking at an event at that Reverb fan event on Friday night, by the way, at that hotel. So
Oh, you guys having fans at the Reverb? Okay, I see you, man. When Austin came in, I mean, they just brought so many people, and I remember walking in. You can kind of see Reverb from certain angles at the stadium, and at the rooftop, it was just straight green. So you
But
guys,
that was a restaurant though. Last year when we came out and we kind of walked up around and followed the road. It was right by, I think the Hawks play right around.
oh well, I know exactly what you're talking
And it
about.
was across the street. That was a fun little spot.
the Hawks.
I
Our
forget
basketball
what the name
arena
of the-
right around the corner.
Yeah, it's State Farm.
Across the street from there.
Because
It was fun.
I can think of a couple of restaurants around there, but not on that side. Not where the
If I look it up, Hudson Grill.
Maybe.
Oh, there's a Hudson
Is it a-
Grill right by there.
There's a Hudson Grill right there,
Atlanta
like
people
catty corner
about
from the
Atlanta.
CNN. It's catty corner from the CNN Center. This is the thing, Mark. I used to live in
Oh.
Atlanta, so I'm educating these guys about what's going on around there.
So Mark,
Hey, Willie P. We don't want the education.
Well, I want to make sure. You know what you're doing. When you're down
I
there.
want to make sure the people who are going to the game have an understanding if they're going out.
Sure.
If they can party somewhere, but beyond
most
that,
of us are riding down on the bus, so we're going to be limited on what time we have to leave because the bus driver is going to be shipping out. So that's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, so
That's true. I'm
that's
getting
gonna
in
be a
and getting
fun
out
bus.
same day myself. So
I think
Makes sense.
Charlotte kind of got upset with Atlanta giving those away tickets. So I believe Atlanta pays for the away ticket for the tickets for the fans at the away games. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Atlanta's owner buys the away tickets, or they do some sort of package for season ticket holders.
Oh, you're talking about for the fans who are traveling to?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
when you
Yeah.
guys come to Charlotte, right?
Yes,
you guys
yeah.
pump
They started
tickets.
that. Yeah, they started that this year, I believe.
So yeah, Charlotte's doing it for us down to Atlanta. So
Nice.
yeah, Ally made a big push to help out with that as well. Big initiative thanks to our friends in the banking industry.
Really?
That's
Interesting.
and that Lee never had on the front of his kit. Lee got the kit. I don't think you saw it, Willie P, but Lee got a kit and he's got like one of the few misprints, and it doesn't have Ally on the front.
I remember showing him. So there was a time I was in Dick's Sporting Goods. I was looking for a present for my now father-in-law, and there was this old couple. I swear to goodness gracious, it was hilarious. And they were looking at the Charlotte FC kits, and they were like, apparently they never even heard of Ally. They're like, who is Allie?
Ally.
And I'm like, no, that's a Charlotte FC. Sure, it's got a sponsor.
I will
for it.
have my kit ready though for Saturday, my purple one.
Look at that.
Nice.
We're wearing blue, by the way. I hope you.
I probably wear the purple one then. My blue, the blue one
What time are you leaving on Saturday, Lee?
I believe the
On
bus
the
leaves
bus.
around Charlotte around 7:30, 8 o'clock Saturday morning.
Nice.
So the one I'm taking is leaving at 9.
Yeah,
we on
well,
the
we're
same-
stopping off in the park in South Carolina to pick up some folks down by
Oh,
Greer.
okay, you're on the one that's stopping. I got you.
Yeah,
all good.
so I guess that's why we're leaving.
Nice. Oh, there's multiple charters. Okay.
Yeah,
This
man, we're coming. We're rolling deep, man.
See,
We're gonna be listening to you, Mark, man.
This is what we need more of in MLS. I'm actually really glad to know that. So so this is coming from the front office then, like the.
Oh yeah, they're all on it.
But I believe there's some talk going on though, like for other away games, like to DC or whatever.
Nashville is the one that I heard they're talking about as well.
No, I'm staying in Nashville. That's my birthday, man. Everybody come to Nashville when we play Nashville, man.
May I say something real quick?
Weekend.
When you have a billionaire owner, he likes to pay for shit.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
it's gonna be fun. So, Mark, what do you think the score is going to be, man? You said a draw, but like 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 3-2 Charlotte.
No, you know what? I'm gonna say 2-1 Atlanta. I just think we're gonna. Yeah, I just think we're gonna devil magic something up. That's I have no. Oh, yeah, Yorgos is back in training. So
I was gonna say, is Yorgos gonna play?
He's back in training.
It doesn't mean anything.
I'll drop the scores in the comments. What y'all think the scores
so
gonna be this weekend?
We'll see Thursday, Friday.
I was a little disappointed. I saw the release on Wiley. They said that he's going to leave after the FC contest. I was hoping that maybe we wouldn't see him. But
so this whole conversation about like certain MLS clubs not releasing their players for the U20 World Cup. What gives? I think that's so strange, because like the whole point of putting these structures in, like meaning the MLS academies and all that, is to get the domestic players to Europe. And so, I was talking about this with Gregor earlier on the For the Culture podcast. Maybe the thinking is that because European teams are watching MLS now, maybe the thought is, well, they'll still get, they'll look.
Honestly,
you still want to be up against players of your caliber from various regions too, right? I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
You don't want to be just locked into the MLS to play, I guess.
I honestly feel like it might be a statement that they're trying to make this toward not necessarily U.S. soccer, maybe toward the league office, to be like, hey, by the way, during these international breaks, we don't want to play. Now, again, U20 World Cup's a bit of a different circumstance.
If you're a soccer player, you want to play all the games.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like the MLS has always gotten some flack and stick for being one of these leagues that doesn't take off all of the international breaks. Their argument counter to that is if we took off every international break, the season would be 10 months long. And while that might be the case, I don't think anybody's going to sit here and whine about it. But at the same time, they don't want to go up against football. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I look at this and I say, it really is an unfortunate situation when you have certain weeks where, teams will be down 2-3 of their best players if they're away on international breaks in Europe or South America.
Yeah, I mean, that happened to Atlanta for a regular international break. They had no Almada, no Etienne, no was it Wiley? No,
that was the Columbus game where it was Columbus or Cincinnati?
It was
Columbus.
No, it was the Columbus game. Yeah, right.
6-1, right?
Yeah.
I would like to just say, as the layperson in all this, is, which is true, it's just the fan who doesn't understand.
I love you, JT.
I love you too, Will. But what I'm trying to tell you is the basic point is when players are pulled off for international breaks and stuff, we're trying to get down with what soccer's going on right now. I don't understand when people get pulled off and they come back, and most people don't understand either. For most sports, we understand they're always there all the time. Mm-hmm. So soccer is just it's a weird
That's
animal.
what makes it so unique, man.
I know, but I'm trying to understand the uniqueness is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which part do you not understand? Why we do it?
Well, whatever. When certain people get pulled away for whatever time for international.
Yeah, I mean, like in
basically,
Europe, they'll take a break. The league will stop for 2 weeks, or they'll do it during the summer.
MLB, NFL, NHL, no one's stopping for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's because those sports don't play anybody in the world.
It's because they don't have national teams that play.
Right.
And again,
I know. I'm just trying to help understand it for everyone else out there.
As like Lee was saying, the Premier League during times when there are international matches will stop their league.
Yes,
for like you said,
FA Cup and all that shit.
And for not even for FA Cup.
So
Not even,
international.
when they play like these international friendlies, like the UEFA, I forget what they call it, the UEFA Nations League now. They'll play these games. Each team will play like 2 or 3 friendlies or whatever, and the domestic leagues will stop. And that's one thing that MLS has said that they do not want to do, or they are loath to do. So when the United States has to play a CONCACAF friendly and they want to bring up, half of MLS, they
Well, the problem is the MLS
teams
is
without
opposite
players
for most of the world, anyways, in regards to scheduling, right?
Also true.
So there's that. So,
a guy on the OFL podcast asking about Leagues Cup is a yearly thing or just for this year. No, this is an every year thing. They want us to be an every year thing. So that the Leagues Cup is actually something that they are stopping the league schedule. Both Liga MX and MLS are stopping their schedules for about a month to play this in-season tournament, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's it's smack in the middle of Liga MX offseason.
Well, hit spin it.
Too much for you?
No, not too much. You just spun me out. That's a lot of
Okay.
a lot of input. But I appreciate it.
What's your score for Atlanta?
Who? Me?
Yes.
3-1 us.
Okay.
3-1 us.
Petty.
What score? What do you think the score is going to be?
I'm going to go inverse of what Mark said. 2-1 goals from Carroll and Chris Hagart.
Interesting.
Hagart with the game winner.
I think we're going to lose 2-1.
Which you've continued to say, and every time he says we lose, we win.
I see. It's a reverse thing going on.
Yeah, reverse manifest it. Go ahead, Mark.
So Justin Miram, he joined y'all a few weeks ago.
Yep, like 2 weeks ago, I believe.
What's your impression of him so far?
I love the guy. I loved him when he was in Atlanta, and I've loved him here. I think he brings a lot of competence to the position. I think he's got a second wind in his career. He's 34 years old, so I think we all were kind of wondering, how much he's got left in the tank, but it seems like he's got a lot. And I know he's probably not a starter full time, but he can start a game for you if you need it. I think right now in the hierarchy of things, he's probably still behind Vargas and Jozwiak when both are fully healthy. But I love what he brings to the table, especially with the young players. We saw him. We were talking before he came on, Mark, about the impact he had on our young left back, or at least left back protege, Hamady Diop. He was very much directing traffic for him yesterday, and just really, really an awesome thing to see.
Yeah, I in his time in Atlanta, I always felt like he was a really polished attacker. I always thought he was a really good option to have, whether he was coming off the bench or starting. He was I would say competent in front of goal, which is, that I know that sounds a little backhanded, but there's a lot of attackers who get into those areas, the final third in front of goal and freeze up,
and he can ping a ball too. I mean, he pinged a very nice service for the second goal we scored on Saturday, and he's not afraid to vary it up too. I mean, he can sting it, he can float it, he can get guys in dangerous areas. I really love it.
Yeah, I don't know how much pace he has still, but I don't know how adept he is at taking people on still, but that was definitely something that he could do when he was with Atlanta. But yeah, I'm curious. So does he mostly start for you guys?
He started for the first time on last Saturday, and he started an Open Cup. Our left winger, Kerwin Vargas, has been battling a lower body issue. I think Vargas is somebody who, again, when healthy, starts over him, and Miram turns into a super sub. But I think that's a pretty decent role for him, I think, at this stage of his career.
Yeah. I mean, it's valuable depth, especially with all these competitions now. I mean, the playoffs.
So. That's the problem with MLS is depth.
Yeah.
Sitting around on the bench, it's like, I ain't really got that one player to spark coming off the bench.
And they limit how much you can spend. So
well, that too.
Yeah.
So
don't tell Miami that. Too soon?
Willie P, give us some updates on injury players like Caruso. I believe he comes back June or July.
We haven't gotten a 100% update. In fact, I'm going to make a point to ask Latanzio tomorrow about Guzman because it has been a while since we've heard about him. Obviously, Camille played last night, so hopefully that means he's good to go on Saturday. Saw Malanda walking around after the game with no boot or brace, which I think is a pretty encouraging thing after we saw him go down on Saturday. We'll probably get an update from Latanzio on him tomorrow. I think we'll ask for one as well on Kerwin Vargas. Don't think Big Bill will go this weekend. One thing we can say is that Joseph Mora is back in training, so Charlotte FC might have another option at left back. Saturday might be a bit ambitious for him. They might hold him until maybe next Wednesday against Chicago because I think they really liked what they saw from Nathan Byrne on Saturday on the left side. Maybe play him on the left and Jalen Lindsay on the right because those two really work well
Lindsay
together.
Plays, we seem to win, so I'm just going to leave that on the table too.
And other injured guys. I know George took a knock in training last Friday. I think he's doing better. I think he's doing okay. I saw him walking around after the game on Saturday as well. Anybody else you want to ask about?
I think that's it.
I got like another 20 numbers.
17, Lee. Oh, JT. 17.
17. Oh, well, you got to be succinct if you really want to. What's Bronico's role moving into forward? In the sense that he came in, he plays well, but
I really, unfortunately, as somebody who has a Brant Bronico water bottle, the Grind Set water bottle, I've looked at Brant play over the course of this season, and I just want to see a little bit more. I think that he's struggling with a bit of confidence right now. He hasn't been the disruptor we're used to seeing him be. And I think from his standpoint, I think he's trying to find his space because a player like Westwood has come in and done all the things that he did for this club last year, but he's doing them at a higher level. And so I think Brant's trying to find his place and find where he wants to be. I think he needs to get on more balls and be more of that kind of pest in the middle. I don't know if that turns him into a starter this week because of Jones being on the yellow card, but I think honestly it's a Westwood and Jones show until proven otherwise because I think those two guys have just outplayed Brant.
Yeah, I mean,
damn.
yeah,
That's
I mean, I don't.
That's what we call insight.
And I love Brant. I mean,
I'll
be the first one to tell you, I'm the one who gave him. I'm the one who gave him his nickname. So
yes,
I mean,
we love him as well.
So I want him to play better, and I'm hoping that he can at least make the decision when Jones comes back Wednesday harder for Christian Latanzio with a good game on Saturday against Atlanta.
Mark, I know you have to go, man. If anything you want to bring up about the game this weekend that we hadn't touched on, except for food that we haven't eaten there yet.
Man. You know what? I'm gonna find that thing from the Scran account, and I'm gonna make sure that we all sample that.
So what you're saying is you'll be at the game Saturday.
It sounded like it.
I'll just talk yourself into it.
Yeah, I know, right? The more I talk about it, the more I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to go. I kind of want to rub it in your face when we win.
No, you know better than that. You won't find me if we win. If you win. I'll be the first one on the bus.
Do you guys have a tailgate planned for outside the stadium?
I have no idea. Yeah, I guess where we
Yellow
were
lot.
last year.
Yellow lot is what I was told.
Yeah,
Okay.
wherever that is.
Yeah, I know,
It's
right?
a long walk to the stadium from there, if I remember correctly.
It's a lot of long walks from around the stadium to the stadium, to be honest.
That's what I'm talking about. Yellow lot ain't shit. Yellow lot ain't shit.
It's definitely not the Gulch. I do like that's one thing if you want to tease an Atlanta United fan, just bring up the Gulch. We still miss it, you know.
I remember doing shows from down in the Gulch, man. The Gulch was lit.
So do I. Yeah, it was a great time. But
I think the tailgate's going to be on the bus there, and then it's just going to fall in as
well. There is literally a tail. Oh.
I know when some of our folks traveled out to Charlotte, there's definitely some bus tailgating, so I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Got a score.
We already at an hour, folks. Man, this thing goes by fast.
I know some of y'all don't shut up.
But
Lee,
We didn't even get through 5 of JT's questions.
We never get through them all. That's just the running list. That's the whole thing.
That's what they make. That's
Hey,
what
Mark,
makes the world go round.
pick a number, man. Since you're a guest on the show, pick a number and we'll close it out with whatever this number is for JT. 12 and 5, I think, is gone.
No,
17 was gone.
That's right.
And 17
Okay.
is gone.
Between 1 and 21.
Let's go with 18.
18.
Or actually 17. 17.
17 was taken already. 17 was
No,
taken.
17 's already taken. That's right. Thank you, Willie P.
18. 18 it is.
Sobachinsky.
I like Jan. I think Jan is somebody. Unfortunately, he got beat on a foot race for that first goal they conceded. But I've always loved his distribution. I think he can stay in front of guys well. Like, that's the thing. It's the only thing that I feel like is the weakness of his game is outrunning dudes. Other than that, I feel like he can stay in front of a defender. He can dispossess the ball. I think he showed a lot of grit on Tuesday night as well, playing in defense. I mean, he's part of that center back rotation that got them a clean sheet against a pretty first choice Orlando squad. I just think, again, you never want to get him 1v1 where he's got to outrun a dude. That's the thing where I feel like you have to kind of provide some cover for him when you're on defense. It's got to be more of a tandem defense when he's there at center back. But like I said, I love his distribution. He's got some of the best distribution of anybody we have at the back in terms of direction and length on balls. I think he's somebody who's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I give you that. But he is ready to body someone. I just feel like the game that we play, it's just not suited for him.
No, I'm about to say he's. There's a reason why I think they were so reticent to play him because, again, the game model probably doesn't suit him, but they'll go to him if they need to, especially if it's a late in game situation or if they just need somebody to start on the bench who's got some competence and knows the game model. And I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing him now, because they'd rather go with him than somebody playing out of position.
All right, man, we hit the hour. We're not doing a giveaway tonight. I forgot to confirm with Defend the Queen. I'm sure he would have, but anyway, that being said, Mark, man, where can people find you?
You can find me at Nicholsodian. That's NICHOLLSODEON on Instagram or Twitter. You can also find me at Atlanta United Fan TV and For the Culture. So I contribute to.
Willie P, how can people find you?
On Twitter at Willie P Style, and along with this great podcast, be sure to subscribe, rate, and listen to the Crown Corner podcast. We put out at least 2 every week. We do a recap of every game and then a preview of the next contest in separate podcasts. We also do some bonus interviews during the week. As I mentioned, I have one that just hit up this afternoon with Chris Hagard in advance of Charlotte FC's match on Saturday and recapping Open Cup. He played 63 minutes in that contest last night against our mutual disdained friends in purple from Orlando.
JT, how can people find us?
They can find us, Lee, at CLTFC Fan TV. For the fans, by the fans, damn it.
On all
Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the stadium when you can. We're getting this thing cranked up. It's only beginning. Thank you, Willie P. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everyone out there. Even you, Esteban. Even you.
That's it. All right, fellas. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks, guys.